and I request Dr. Partha Viswas to come up with his talk on the correct way of ICL or the phakic lens implantation. As my faculty is there, so I welcome all the dignitaries on the dais, especially I introduce Professor Titial sir, who is Chief of RP Center and has got tremendous experience of phakic lenses, and Dr. Ramamurthy from Coimbatore. He is one of the pioneers of phakic lens. And Dr. Sudhank Bharti, another refractive correction person who has also got a tremendous experience from Delhi, and Dr. Mahipal Sajdev, and who is, I think we don't require introduction of Dr. Mahipal Sajdev, and Dr. Partha Viswas, our former scientific committee chairman and incoming president-elect of AIOS. Thank you all. वर्कअप कर दिया बहन का, ये सब इंट्रोडक्शन हो गया, टेक्निक जो आप बताते हो ना स्लोली।
ओके फाइन। Thank you very much, Purendra, for including me in this IC course of yours, which has been a learning for all of us. And over the years, things have become more and more appropriate. And now we also have the ICL with the presbyopic correction, or the EDOF ICL. And but however, what becomes very important is the surgical technique and how you need to plan, how you need to perform, and how you need to extensively and appropriately see that the follow-ups are being maintained. Because it can happen once in a while that a follow-up is not done properly and the patient comes back with a complication that could have been solved much, much earlier. So with this in mind, we'll go through the correct way to do an ICL and toric ICL. Purendra has touched upon possibly the prerequisites of phakic IOL. I will not go on to this. And just let us remember that we need to do a phakic IOL with the prerequisites, and the anterior chamber depth has to be 2.8 millimeters. You have to adhere to the endothelial cell density, and any other ocular pathology that could be there definitely has to be ruled out. And if there is something that is something that you cannot do with, then refuse this case of ICL. The examination and the evaluations are important, and Purendra has dealt with them. What I will do is, it is a posterior chamber concept, and it's a very, very important part which we can put in the ICL, and it has stood the test of time. And I will now take up a small question. How many of us here do ICLs? Of course, I'm not including the faculty. Yes. So that's quite a large number who are doing ICLs. But for those who are not yet doing ICLs, this is a small video that I have thought that could be of importance. So the importance of learning together, that is, here I'm going to play a video in which one of our fellows has done her 5th ICL, and we'll compare it to what should have been done and where she has gone wrong or where she could have done better, remembering the fact. Connection. So the importance of learning together, and this is how we do go ahead with it. So the loading of the ICL is the most important part, and we have to pay attention. So this is our fellow who is doing it, and she's doing it perfectly fine, filling it with half of viscoelastic and half of methyl cellulose and half of BSS. Now, taking out the ICL from the bottle, and which is in BSS, you have to be very gentle. And it has to come out, and you have to load it on the trolley. So it's important that you load it on the trolley. And you can identify she's wearing white gloves. We did it on purpose only. So here she's putting that ICL in the cartridge. Now look at where she is fumbling slightly or trying to smoothen out. The ICL has to go in at one side, and it should be slanting on the other side. And then with this applicator, which is a very soft-tipped applicator, it has to go in right away. Now, it does not all the time, and that's why I mean to show this video is, you have to be very gentle, and the tuck has to be from the side where it is slanted up. So, it's a very simple procedure, but where you can have trouble, not only trouble, during this maneuver, it can tumble out and go out of your place, and it can fall on the drapes. So it has to be very gently done. See, and again, another thing to be kept in mind is it has to be wet all the time. Otherwise, it might get a little firm, and it becomes difficult. Now, look at, obviously, I have gone through all these years with all these difficulties. And today, if I load the ICL, it will be something like this. So it's not that I'm doing the right way, absolutely. I do it right on the patient's. I lift the microscope a little so that I'm well positioned and well focused, and then plant it. However, for any learner, any beginner, please load it on the trolley so that if it falls off and you don't have a spare ICL, then you know how to go about it. So we are pulling out the ICL into the nozzle, and the pull has to be both ways, this way and that way. So it has to be an opposite pull, and it goes on. Now look at the ICL implantation. Again, the first part I'll show from my fellow's perspective, or what she has done. And the first thing that best to avoid is to hold, this is of course fast forwarded, to hold the lips of the side port. It can be just held with the forceps blades in. And now she's placing it in. Now, it was a little on the side, and it did come out well. But what she could have done is, she could have rotated the nozzle a little so that, and the insertion could have been a little slower. Of course, this was fast forwarded, but it could have been a little slower. So you know that the whole of the right side is going in the right place, and you do not have an upside down ICL. So again, placing viscoelastic. Again, she's holding grasping the side lips. So though these are atraumatic forceps, it does traumatize a little bit. So best to avoid it. And this patient was not particularly very, very cooperative also. So she was having a little difficult time. Now, the patient whom I'm going to show is how to this patient of mine was much more cooperative, and the better way to have is, filling in the viscoelastic, and even when you're making the side port incisions, as gentle as possible. So not to hold the conjunctiva, just to put a counter pressure on the other side. And you can see that placing in the forceps within the wound itself is good enough. It will not express out any of the viscoelastic. And you can see that this is how I'm turning my hand a little, so that, and you can see the nozzle has become on the side, so that the implantation of the ICL is right in and in the proper way. And you're seeing it all the time. There is no hurry, because let me also tell our juniors that even if the ICL has come out 1/3, even 2/3 into the anterior chamber, and you have detected that it is not the right side up, you can just gradually pull it out, and it will come out with the injector system, and you can again reload it and place it in the proper way. So it's not that it has gone in half, therefore you have to push it the full way, even if it is going wrong, not at all. So take it out, and it will come out with the cartridge itself. And then, of course, you can place it once again. So this is what I wanted to tell you about. Of course, post-op examination is important. Intraocular pressure assessment is important. If it is high and retained viscoelastic, if it is a hyperopic ICL, then iridotomy has to be done, and if it has been done, one should check the PIs, and there could be a rise of intraocular pressure for that as well. So the vault has to be checked, and that's very important because these times the ICL come in the BSS. So next day itself, you have a fair estimation of what the vault is going to be. However, if it is a very low vault or if it is a very high vault, let's not be in a big hurry to remove this, explant it, and put in a fresh lens, because these vaults can also undergo changes. Therefore, if it's a vault of just about 125 microns, which is on the lower side, wait, assess over maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. Then if you feel that it is going down less than 100, then definitely that's one situation where you have to remove the ICL and place in another one. If it is a very high vault, again, the intraocular pressure check and the vault check has to be done consistently, and to assess whether the vault size is giving any difficulty. A PI can be done at one particular stage, but of course the PI has to be in such a position that it actually diverts the aqueous flow. So these are a few small things that I think we just need to understand, and the post-op results are usually very, very good. The vault, as I have just spoken, the ICL with low vault and high vault, they definitely have to be examined and re-examined, and at the end of the road, we have these smiles and minds of smiles. Thank you very much.
Any questions? Before we take Dr. Ramamurthy for his next talk. Any question from the audience? So,
one question. Dr. Partha, nowadays, people talk about hydroimplantation, especially those experienced people, to decrease the viscoelastic retention. What is your comment on that?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Hydroimplantation can be done. I also do it in most of my cases. However, if it is a very fidgety person, I don't do it, and I have the lens placed well inside the cartridge and in the anterior chamber before expelling it out. However, for our people who are starting off, please don't think of it. Please don't think of hydroimplantation. Though you might be hydroimplanting a lens IOL in a cataract surgery, that does not mean you can safely implant an ICL, because the dimension and the difficulty of implanting an upside-down ICL is a lot more huge than in the cataractous lenses.
Do you propagate both eye surgery done the same day, or you do in alternate days?
So usually over 7 days, and if the patient is in a big hurry, never on the same day, because I also have had vault sizing problems. So one eye to be done at least 2 or 3 days. If the vault and everything is fine, after 3 days also I do the next one. But same day, no.
What's your opinion, sir?
Slightly different on both these questions, in the sense that most of my intraocular lenses cataract surgery is hydroimplantation. But then when it comes to phakic intraocular lens, because the space is much less, we are just having 2.8 or 3 millimeters of space. The control is not there. That's the reason I make even a 3 millimeter incision, have the mouth of the cartridge inside. I think do it under viscoelastic gives you much better control. And as Partha said, if it opens up in a reverse direction, then it's never a good idea to reverse it inside. So you have to pull it out and then do it. And yes, I do bilateral implantation on the same day because nobody comes asking for phakic intraocular lenses. All these patients are patients who turned up for LASIK correction, wanting surgery on the same day. You have converted them to this, and then they are more amenable to this. And so far, I have not regretted this. Unless I'm unsure about my findings or want to verify the findings in the first, I normally do a bilateral implantation.
So the vault issue is a issue, sir, because even with so many years of practice, once in a while the vault will be less than what we expect. They are 125 or 100. And then obviously the other eyes, I would put in a size that is higher. So that is the only particular reason that I feel that at least a vault sizing to be done post-operatively and then going to the other eye.
The problem is, whatever you do, the lens size, the anterior chamber depth, so many other factors come in. And titrating the lens in the other eye based upon the first eye vault, that too within 2 to 3 days. But anyway, that's a good idea. You have a point.
What viscoelastic do you use? That is,
Yeah, that's a very important question. So methyl cellulose is what we were using for most of the time. Now we use sodium hyaluronate also. And sodium hyaluronate, because it comes out in a bulk, it's much easier to remove it. But methyl cellulose also can be used. It has to be expressed out well. The other thing that, I think a point of significance is the central hole. So at one time we were flushing out the viscoelastic from down below from the central hole. Then there came a publication in which it was noted that cataract can be induced if the jet goes in through the central hole onto the anterior capsule. So after that, we have been very judicious and just about a wash from the sides to expel out the methyl cellulose as much as possible.